Right, so here we are, my 3,000 points of Necrons, and what a sight we have. We've got 3 different detachments here. We've got an Outrider, we've got the Air Wing, and we have got a battalion. But we're going to start off down here with the HQ element. We have got a Cryptek here with the Cloak and Staff of Light. 2 Overlords with War Scythes and Resurrection Orbs. This one here is the Warlord of the army with a nice relic as well. He's got the Veil of Darkness. Got 2 Canoptic Sentinels there, 5 Lich Guard here with the shields, 5 Death Marks, 3 Doom Scythes there. So from Necrons, it's pretty much bog standard for most of this. We have got 40 Tesla Immortals in 4 squads of 10. We've got 2 squads of 6 Wraiths, they're completely bare bones, those guys there. 3 Annihilation Barges here with Tesla underslung. And we've got a Satan here at the front there, and that is my 3,000 points. Very impressive. Looking forward to getting this on the board. And let's have a look to see what Matt is bringing with his Ultramarines. Right, and here we have 3,000 points of Ultramarines, and we've got 2 battalions here. So we've got a battalion of the new, over on the right here, led by the big man himself, minus Calgar, and over on the left here we've got the old, led by Tiggy down here, although we're using the Primaris rules. We've got the old model here, where next time we've got a chaplain. So starting on the right here with the Primaris guys, let's see if I know all my terminology. So we have got the chapter master himself, minus Calgar, with his 2 bodyguards there. We have got a lieutenant here, and behind we have got 3 squads of intercessors. And on the right here, we've got a squad of Hellblasters, a squad of aggressors back here with the bolter loadout. We have got a Redemptor, that was the one. We've got Redemptor over here on the right here with the Gatler and underslung one there. Over here we've got the Repulsor, all the guns. Great fun there. Now moving along, we have got the Storm Raven here with the multi-melters and the bolters and the assault cannon there. Down here, of course, we have got Tiggy himself. Like I said, we're using the Primaris rules, although we're using the old model because the old model is still pretty cool. Over on the right here, we've got a chaplain. Then we've got 3 squads of standard Marines here with plasma guns and combi weapons on this. Yeah, combi flamers on the sergeants there. Back there we have got Grav Centurions, 3 of them. We have got a Land Raider at the back there with the bolters and the assault cannon. Then we've got Leviathan. First time Leviathan's coming out, so hopefully for Matt's sake he's not going to have new model syndrome there. And of course he's loaded out with a lot of guns there. And then finally we've got a Razorback, sorry, my brain's gone. And there we go, so that is 3,000 points of Ultramarines. Now let's have a look at deployment and mission. Right, so both forces have now deployed on the battlefield. It's looking pretty epic, actually. So the mission today is, of course, taking the centre is the key priority here. And on the screen marker there, that is worth 3 points. Also across the battlefield, there's 4 more objectives in each quarter. The objectives are represented here by the bronze skulls, and they are worth D3 points at the end of the battle. If you were to hold those at D3, so potentially you could almost go without taking the centre and hold the outer ones. So there's 2 there. There's another one down here by this barricade, old Imperial barricade. We've got this one down here. And finally this one down here by the makeshift barricade here, and currently the Primaris are holding there. So let's go through deployment very quickly here. So on the far left here we have got an Annihilation Barge, then we've got a mass centre of Immortals with the Cryptek, the 2 Overlords and the Lich Guard here holding on the left flank. Then we have the 3 Doom Scythes hidden behind these buildings at the moment. We're followed here by the Wraiths, 2 squads of Wraiths. We've got another Annihilation Barge just hidden underneath Doom Scythe. In the centre of the Wraiths, what could be worse, but the Reaper himself is slightly behind the Wraiths there. And then finally on this flank, all by himself, we have the remaining barge there. In reserve, we've got the Sentinels and the Death Marks. They'll be coming in throughout the battle. Then moving across over to the Ultramarines. So down here we have got 5 Primaris there, very close to the objective, which is down there, the little bronze skull, right there. And then we have a Razorback with 5 Tactical Marines in. Over here we have got the Land Raider. Matt just mentioned there, there's no multi-motor on this one, he couldn't afford it. But inside we have got some Grav Centurions. Then, God, all the powers over here. So we have the Leviathan, we have Calgar himself, we've got the Lieutenant, we've got the Chaplain, we've got Tiggy, we've got Hellblasters, we've got the Repulsor. Inside the Repulsor we've got the Aggressors. We have the Dreadnought at the back here. Then moving over to this flank here, we've got 2 Intercessor squads holding the barricades, and across a lot of Necrons there. And then we have finally the Storm Raven there. And inside the Storm Raven we've got 2 more tactical squads in there. So yep, battle is about to commence. Matt did deploy all his forces first. Unfortunately, he gets a +1 to this. So, Matt, would you like to roll a dice? 2. Okay, so it's a 3. It's beatable. It's beatable. A 6. Right, you do have a chance to seize the initiative if you really want to. Do you want to seize the siege? Yeah, give it a crack. So he's going to try and seize. No, the opposite. Right, moving on to turn 1 for the Necrons. Right, so turn 1 movement for the Necrons. So over on this flank here, the Annihilation Barge has charged up the battlefield, a bit far onto these intercessors here. The Doomsides are all moved up, kind of getting into formation, preparing for a strike. Right down there, right onto the centre. Before one gets shot down, we need to make the most of this. In the centre here, you can see Death itself. Joined by the Wraiths are moving up the centre of the battlefield. We did try a Satan Power Transdimensional Thunderbolt, I believe it is, onto the Land Raider. Unfortunately, that did not go off. In the centre, my centre, will be all these Immortals here. So the first 2 squads here moved up normally. The others 2 did an assault move and just kind of caught up, getting ready to overlap possibly. And also everyone else just moved up here, including the Annihilation Barge moving into position, and this Annihilation Barge over here moved up as well. So hopefully some of this stuff is within firing range and they can suffer some horrible Necron Tesla death in a moment. So moving on to turn 1 shooting for Necrons. Right, so it's now time to use the stratagem. We've got targeting data coming down onto here, and we're going straight on to Calgar there. The Tesla weapons are just going to ping into this Razorback over here. So I need a 4-up to be causing mortal wounds to this squads around here. Because of Calgar, there's several characters here. I've got the Chaplain, Tiggy, and the Lieutenant will be doing damage. I'll be hitting them on a 5. These guys, Hellblasters, because there's 5, it's 5 or more, will be hitting on a 3. Everything else will be hitting on a 4. The only thing we're not going to be hitting here is this Dreadnought here. So what I'll do is I'll roll right here. Here we go. So, Lieutenant, 5 up. No. Chaplain, 5 up. Nope. Getting so far. Come on, good for the Marines. Tiggy, nope. The big man himself. Nope. Oh dear. The bodyguards, they're on a 4, so they've been hit. So let's put that there for now. The Hellblasters, so they're a 3. So they've been hit as well. The Leviathan, please hit the Leviathan. Yep, so Leviathan's been hit. And the 2 tanks. So for the Land Raider, been hit. Thank you, geeks. And for the Repulsor, thank you, Meta. And there we go. So I'm going to roll up damage and we'll come back to see what's happened. Right, so after the shooting phase, it was pretty brutal. We had Tesla fire come in from the Annihilation Barge, and also we had Tesla fire from the Doomsday Arcs, Death Scythes coming in, and Doomsday, sorry, down to 3 wounds on the Razorback there. We kind of ignored the Marines, just trying to get everyone out of the transports. Nothing there. And as we saw, the Death Rays did some nasty stuff over here. So this Land Raider's down to 11 wounds. Leviathan's down to 10 wounds. The bodyguards have been killed. All the characters got away scot-free. 3 Hellblasters were killed. And this guy as well, he's down to 4. He took a bit of damage from Tesla fire that came across the battlefield from the horrible formation over there. That is pretty intimidating right there as the Immortals silently move forwards. And so that's down to 4. Nasty stuff. This squad also suffered some casualties. 2 have fallen and 1's quite wounded there. But everything else over here got away scot-free really. So that was Necron's first turn. Nasty. We got a first blood, but that's that. We're going to move on now to turn 1 for the Ultramarines. Right, turn 1 movement for the Ultramarines. And on this flank down here, these guys remain stationary, making use of the assault cannon on the Razorback there. Land Raiders pushed up here into the towards the centre, just blocking off the route for the Wraiths there. Down there, the Hellblasters are pushing up slightly there. Everyone's kind of just shuffled around slightly. Dreadnoughts remain stationary. Repulsors remain stationary as well there. And a flyer here is coming in to intercept against the Necron air support here. Hopefully take one of them out the battle. So that's it. We're going to move into turn 1 psychic and shooting for the Ultramarines. Right, okay, so turn 1 psychic and shooting for the Ultramarines, and it was painful. So these guys all fired off towards the Immortals, killed a couple off. The Repulsor though, remaining with 4 wounds, fired everything bar the las cannon. Also the Storm Raven here fired as bolters down into a squad of Immortals, wiping them completely. So all 10 have fallen. The las cannon and the las cannon from the Repulsor and the multi-melter from the Storm Raven fired into one of the Doomscythes and took it out, and that has fallen and gone. The stratagem we used previously is now null and void. Although the Hellblasters did attempt to fire at it, one unfortunately killed himself. Bit of a shame. Never mind. Down here, Leviathan, Land Raider, and some small arms, as well as the Dreadnought here. They all fired into the squad of Wraiths here, completely wiping those as well. So that's 3 units gone. The Razorback still able to shoot a little bit, and the Marines here fired into the other squad of Wraiths, killing off one of those. So a lot of stuff for Necrons has fallen in turn 1. Very nasty stuff. Tiggy down here got off Null Zone, and Might of Heroes was cast upon the Leviathan there. So yeah, painful stuff. We're going to move into turn 2 for the Necrons, and hopefully they're able to come back from this. Right, turn 2 movement for Necrons. So down here, the Annihilation Barge is pushed up towards these intercessors here, draw a bit of fire. In the centre, they're still moving forwards. My will be done on this squad here, and also on that squad there. So everyone's still pushing up there. This Annihilation Barge is also pushed up towards the Repulsor there. The Doomscythes have gone scooting off now, no longer having to remain in formation. They're just going to do whatever they want, really. Death marks have appeared up in the battlements here. Nice lot of characters down there. Potentially there could be a bit of a pain and do some damage to them. Down here, one of the Sentinels has appeared in the ruins. Wraiths have moved up with the Satan, and over here on this flank, the remaining Annihilation Barge is pushing up on this flank here. Hopefully we can take at least 1 or 2 of these vehicles down, but we will see. So we're going to move into turn 2 shooting for Necrons. Right, okay, so end of turn 2 shooting for Necrons. So over here, the Annihilation Barge fired in, did nothing to this Razorback here. Also, the Satan tried to use his power as well and did nothing into that Razorback there. These 5 actually fired off using Talent of Annihilation, the Mithrit one, so on roll of a 6 extra shot there, and did 3 wounds onto Tiggy here. The Sentinel here fired into the Dreadnought, not doing much to them, although both the Doomscythes fired in, doing 7 wounds in total to the Dreadnought there. It's taking it down to 3, so hopefully that'll do enough to kind of knock them out of the game a little bit. Mortal squads here, 2 of which fired into the Repulsor, destroying that. And a bit of fire as well from the rear squad of Immortals fire up into this, doing a little bit of damage, taking it down to 11 wounds. The Annihilation Barge here fired off into the squad here, reducing it down to 1 man with 1 wound. And down here as well, killing one off and taking one down to 1 wound. So a little bit of damage, not as much as hoped, but we're going to move into assault now, and potentially these wraiths will be able to do something to the Land Raider here, but let's find out. Right, so end of turn 2 assault. So what happened is we declared a multi-charge into the Land Raider and the Razorback. Matt played a stratagem. The Ultramarines have basically, it was called defensive focus. So he played defensive focus on this Land Raider, enabling his 2 dreadnoughts back here and Calgar to fire Overwatch as if they were being charged. And we lost 2 wraiths to the reroll bonanza of Calgar himself with the lieutenant, as well as the Land Raider. There's a lot of firepower coming in. But yeah, we lost 2 there. We charged in here, did 2 wounds to this Razorback here, reducing it down to 1. And with the Satan and these 2, we did nothing to this. So not great. We're going to move on now into turn 2 for the Ultramarines. Right, so turn 2 movement for the Ultramarines. So the Storm Raven here is charged across the battlefield here. Intercessors are now kind of coming over to this objective here. So you can see the skull there, and the Intercessors are moved here. The Razorback here has fallen out of combat. Over here, Land Raider has done a similar thing, although the Centurion's disembarked and now climbed on top of this building and is withdrawn out of combat there. Everyone else, all of Calgar's retinue here, have also kind of pushed back away from the Wraiths and the Satan and going to concentrate their fire probably down the field towards the Immortals there. And that's pretty much it movement-wise. Everyone else has remained stationary, holding the line here among his fallen brothers. He's firing away like there's no tomorrow. Possibly there isn't. So we're going to move on to Psychic and Shooting and see what the Sons of Macragge can do. Right, so turn 2, Psychic and Shooting for the Ultramarines, and they are fighting hard and causing heavy casualties. So these guys up here, the Centurions fired down, killing off the Sentinel down there, butchering them. Down here, the Dreadnought fired up into the Deathmarks, killing them all off. They're also joined by the Bolters down here, they fired in as well. The Razorback with the Land Raider fired into the remaining Wraiths and killed those off there. Down here, Leviathan still going, 3 wounds and killed off both the Annihilation Barges. 2 lots of fire went in there. This thing is brutal, very intimidating there. What else died in this turn? And that was about it, I think. Well, once again, got Might of Heroes off and Null Zone down there. So a lot of damage handed out by the Ultramarines. Necrons definitely getting seriously damaged here, but they have to defend their point here. They must stay on this planet, must defend the Tomb World from these invaders. So moving into turn 3 for the Necrons. Turn 3 for the Necrons. And over here, Annihilation Barges remained stationary. The remaining Sentinel has popped up on this corner here to put a bit of fire into that Razorback, possibly up in the air, but we'll see. There was a slight change. Realised that the Centurions couldn't have made it up onto the first floor, so they've remained on the ground floor there. So the no hunter's going to go in there. One of Doomsides have flown off this way, the other one going off that way. So they just like switched in air mid-flight, and across here the Immortals are just moving forward. These move normally, but these 2 have assaulted up the battlefield, advanced, sorry, and behind there we've got the supporting elements there. So hopefully we can have some firepower that's going to go off and do something to these Ultramarines, but we will see. So let's move into turn 3, Shooting for Necrons. Right, so end of turn 3 shooting for the Necrons here. And down here, Satan made short work of the 3 Centurions, using Gaze of Death, just killing off the 3 there quite quickly. Down here, the Annihilation Barge fired into the Razorback. Razorback blew up and took out 4 of the Marines inside, so leaving just the 1 guy with the plasma gun there. Then here, this Doomside fired off into the Leviathan Dreadnought. Leviathan Dreadnought like shrugging them off easily, not even be able to hit, unfortunately. Immortals just basically fired everything into different targets. A couple of shots came into this guy, nothing. One lot came into the sergeant there, killing him off. 3 of the Marines over here have fallen. The aggressors took a lot of shots, but being out of AP range at the moment, weren't able to do anything there. So not brilliant, but that is it. We're going to move on to assault phase and see if we can get some charges in. Right, so end of turn 3 assault for Necrons, and the only assault that actually went off was the Satan has charged in to get 5 wounds to Overwatch from the Land Raider and from this Dreadnought here, using the stratagem once again. But we did 3 wounds back, so we're slowly taking it down, and if it blows up, it blows up. But we'll see. Over here as well, we tried some charges. 2 squads of Immortals tried to push up towards this remaining Hellblaster. Unfortunately, that did not play out as planned. So we're going to move on to Ultramarines turn 3. And the Ultramarines are in a pretty good place at the moment. So let's see what they can do. Right, so turn 3 movement for the Ultramarines. And yeah, they're just shifting along here. Land Raider's falling out of combat there. Leviathan slowly moving forwards. Everyone else is like hanging around the chapter master, making sure he's safe and secure. But they're all lurking together here, little team. Across here as well, the Storm Raven dropped off one of its tactical squads here, and then has flown off to the other side of the battlefield, near to this objective down here. I'm sure there's going to be another squad going to appear soon. But the Ultramarines are following the Codex word by word, and they are doing their best. So we're going to move into turn 3, psychic and shooting for the Ultramarines. End of turn 3, and once again the Ultramarines are on top form. 10 Immortals killed off here by the aggressors. 9 Immortals killed off here by combined fire from the Leviathan and from minus Calgar there. Satan has fallen over here as well. He has fallen to the firepower of the Land Raider and the Dreadnought. The Annihilation Barge has fallen as well to the combined fire of the plasma guns and the squads there. Necrons in a very sorry state of things at the moment. We're going to see if they can do anything in their turn 4. Right, so turn 4 movement for the Necrons. Doomscypher is scooted over here, but for strafing run potentially. The Sentinel has moved up there into close proximity of the Primaris Marines. We move across the battlefield. We'll see that the rest of the Necrons here are just pushing up now, trying to get any sort of advantage. We're just moving up. Lots of resurrections going on here with the Immortals. Lichguard kind of tagging on behind at the moment. Got the Cryptic there, and the other Doomscypher here is just zoomed off. Potentially still get a bit of firepower in there, but it's getting a -1 to hit. And having Mithrit as well, I'm now hitting on 5s. It's almost pointless doing that. So we're going to move into shooting and see if we can do any damage. Turn 4 shooting for Necrons. So over here, the Doomscypher came in, did a strafing run, killing off 3 of the Marines in that squad there. Another Marine was killed by the Exile Cannon, sent into the Abyss. Moving across the battlefield, slight changes. The Leviathan Dreadnought has finally fallen, taken down by Tesla fire. He's gone down there. This squad of Mortals split their fire. A few fired off into the ruins here and killed off the 2 intercessors there. The others fired off into the aggressors. So there's 1 aggressor left with 1 wound. A bit more damage was also taken when the Doomscypher fired in as well, killing off 1 of the aggressors. So it's looking pretty good there. We're going to move into turn 4 assault. We're going to try and charge as many things as we can in to deal with the Ultramarine threat. Yeah. Turn 4 assault for Necrons. So we got charged in here, doing 1 wound to one of the Primaris there, but really just to hold them up a little bit. Over here as well, very successful charges. The Overlord charged in. There's a lot of heroic interventions, but as the Overlord targeted Tigerius to start with, he killed him off very quickly. And the Lieutenant and the Chaplain did a heroic intervention, taking 4 wounds off of the Overlord there. Over here as well, 1 wound was dealt out to both the Hellblaster and the Aggressor by the Immortals. And of course, Midas Kelgar had to get involved here, killing off 7 of the Immortals there. And that was it. We're going to move in turn 4 for the Ultramarines and see what they can do. But it's looking quite thin on the ground for both. I think Ultramarines still have an advantage as such, but we'll see what happens. Right, so turn 4 movement for the Ultramarines. And as standard, as the Codex says, they have all fallen out of combat and towards the Land Raider there. It's kind of shuffled round. Dreadnought as well has decided to advance. Better late than never. It's kind of moving up to get some firing solutions. Over in the centre, the Storm Raven's now gone into hover mode and moving into the centre of the ruin, possibly to get some charges in place to hold the centre. That is, of course, a key part. And the Storm Raven's doing a good job holding it at the moment. And down here, Intercessors have fallen out of combat. And these guys are just consolidated to just get back into squad formation. And that is it. We're going to move into turn 4 shooting for the Ultramarines. Let's see what they can do. Right, so the end of turn 4 shooting for the Space Marines. So they fell back here. They then fired, killing the 2 squads of Immortals and the Overlord there. Followed up by the Storm Raven killing off all of the Lich Guard there. Down across here as well. The last Stalker, last Sentinel died there, leaving just the 2 Doomscythes. The Warlord and his Cryptek there. So Necrons have decided to bow out and to fade into the mist, leaving the Ultramarines to take the field on the battlefield here, easily claiming victory. And on a side note, you can definitely see the difference between the old Space Marine Codex and the new Space Marine Codex. Matt has pretty much remained in the tactical doctrine, which is just what Ultramarines need. It's just the firepower has been unrelenting, and the Necrons have been falling. Like, I've lost multiple units per turn, and yet the Necrons have struggled really to take more than 1 unit a turn out. Or to take a unit a turn out. So it's been very hard going for the Necrons, but the Ultramarines definitely the overall winners here. And just as you needed in the last battle of this campaign, they have come through. The Midas Kelgar has come down to lead the Ultramarines to victory. Very fitting that the Chapter Master himself has come down and claimed victory. Matt, have you got a unit of the match at all?
It's going to be probably having Kelgar, because he just, all the rerolls, everything, that little castle, just meant I was able to just eliminate units.
Definitely.
Really is,
I mean the Ultramarines in general, well, not Ultramarines, Space Marines in general, it's all relying on your supporting characters. It doesn't necessarily matter too much about who they are, but the support with the Lieutenant and the Chapter Master is just, brutal. I don't really have one, to be honest. Nothing else is long enough. I mean, the Doomscythes have survived constantly. They haven't really taken much fire, but they have been going around the battlefield and taking a fair bit of damage. And that's probably my model of the match, to be honest. But this is Dom from BlackToad Studios. Thank you very much for watching. Please comment below, give us a like and a subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you next time. Take care.